welcome to Movie Reedviews with me, Cody Reed. So today I'm going to review Concussion. It's the newest Will Smith movie and it's directed by Peter Landsman. It's actually a pretty interesting story that takes place only like a decade ago about Dr. Bennett Malu, who's played by Will Smith, and it's a forensic pathologist who is really fascinated with the way that people die, like the what and the why of how they die. And it really shows in the way that he performs his autopsies on the dead, because he really has respect for the dead in the way that he always like cleans his utensils, throws them away. He doesn't want to open up like someone else's grandma when the same knife was used to open up a serial killer. So it really is a good way of showing how he thinks and how he really has respect for his patients, the dead. And one of the patients he's assigned to work on is Mike Webster, who's like a former NFL player who kind of went crazy a little later on in his life. And then one thing leads to another, and he's basically the front-runner scientist on a study for seeing how repeated head trauma can really choke the brain and how it can also damage the brains of the NFL players who get that all the time. And sticking with Omalu, Will Smith is the best that he's been in years. After his last few films like Men in Black 3, After Earth, Focus, this is definitely a great performance from him. And at first the accent was a little jarring because he plays like a Nigerian scientist and doctor, and so it was a little jarring at first, but then halfway through the movie I just kind of thought, oh, I thought this was really how Will Smith spoke, so you just kind of get used to it. And as the movie goes on, you can really see more and more the burden that's placed on this doctor's shoulders, because he's going to get all this like hate mail and attacks and just like slander in the media, and he doesn't really want that, but he knows as a scientist and a doctor he has an obligation to pursue the truth. So you really see that burden placed on the doctor's shoulders. And he's the one that carries the film, Will Smith, and the one that the film really focuses on to begin with. And some characters are better utilized than others. His love interest, the actress Gugu, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's mostly just there to be his love interest. They don't really go into more of her character and kind of her motivations. I would have liked to see that more, besides them just kind of courting a little bit and going to like a dance and having this weird dance scene between them. It was just kind of like a weird scene to put that in. But I would have liked to see more of their relationships. And because you find out that she's a nurse, and so what's that relationship? You know, why is she drawn to him? Why is he drawn to her? The motivations for her helping him through this struggle and them having that struggle together. I wish we would have seen more of that. But then the other characters like Alec Baldwin and Albert Brooks, the ones that they play, are great support to Will Smith's doctor character. Albert Brooks is like his boss basically, and Alec Baldwin plays another doctor. So they're great, or at least pretty good supporting characters to already Will Smith's performance. And like I mentioned, David Morse, who plays Mike Webster, he's in the movie a little bit, but the role that he plays is definitely important, and it's also really good. It looks like he's definitely losing it. A couple other weird things besides that dance scene that I mentioned that was kind of random was the way that the director or like the cameraman focus in on the hands. It was just something I noticed. They would always like zoom in on the hands a lot, or on the characters' faces. It would get like right up in there. And then one other thing, I just wanted a little more from the fight between Omalu and the NFL itself. The movie definitely didn't play it safe as far as like going against the NFL and bringing up these issues. It didn't play it safe, but I just wanted more of that in the movie rather than like focusing on the doctor and his like relationship and just like the way he operates, which was good at the beginning, but through the rest of the movie, like the last two thirds, I definitely wanted more of that. And with the relationship, if you are going to show his love interest, then at least build up that character or just lessen her role in the movie and really focus on the doctor and his struggle between the NFL. And speaking of struggles, if you're struggling to go see this movie or not, if you like biopics with solid acting, especially from a strong lead, you'll like this one, like things like Theory of Everything and Imitation Game from last year. If you like those kind of biopics, then you'll probably like the Concussion movie. So yeah, I thought about it a little bit, and I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Basically a solid movie. If they would have focused more on the struggle between him and the NFL, it would have bumped it up a little bit more for me. But it was still like a well-made movie, and a good attempt at bringing up these issues, and then a strong performance from Will Smith. What about you? Leave some comments below with that brain of yours, and tell me what you thought of the movie. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, though, as well, because you'll get updates on other reviews and videos I post. And then also send me some emails at moviereedviews@gmail.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Stitch. Concussion wasn't as cute and fluffy as me. It was kind of dark and sad, but I'm cute and fluffy. I'll give it 4 out of 7 spaceships.